Welcome to Real Estate Real World, where we talk to the movers, shakers, and leaders that are getting it done right now in the real estate industry and beyond. Your host, Marguerite Crespillo, started this podcast simply dedicated to call people about what's really happening in this crazy roller coaster ride of real estate. Be sure to subscribe on iTunes and stay up to date on the newest stuff by adding yourself to the list at www.realestaterealworld.com. Now your host, Marguerite Crespillo.
Hello, everybody. It's Marguerite Crespillo. And here we are on another fabulous episode of Real Estate Real World, where we get to talk to all the cool people and talk about what's really happening right now in our real estate industry, the good, the bad, the ugly, all the good stuff, right? So today we have a very special guest. And by the way, I'm wearing my mom shirt. I guess this side, my little mom shirt with my little mom heart. And today we're going to talk to a very good friend of mine, longtime friend, and her name is Shannon Hoff, and she is a lender extraordinaire. So let me read her bio real quick, although probably none of this matters because we're going to talk about all the good stuff. Shannon Hoff is a dedicated mortgage broker serving California and 14 other states now. She's committed to helping families achieve the American dream of homeownership. At American Pacific Mortgage, she offers a range of financing options, including conventional, jumbo, FHA, VA, USDA, and more, tailored to meet the unique needs of each client. Whether you're a first-time homebuyer or a seasoned investor, Shannon ensures a smooth, secure process with flexible communication options. Her focus is on providing a seamless experience while guiding clients through the path to homeownership or refinancing. And I'm going to add my little 2 cents to this. She is my favorite, one of my favorite kind of GSD people, meaning she gets shit done. So everybody, please welcome Miss Shannon Hoff.
Hi.
And what I didn't say in the bio is that every year in the month of October, she dresses up every single day for 31 days for the month of Halloween. So tell us today, Shannon, who are you dressed up as?
I am a wind-up doll. So,
Oh, there you go.
Yep.
And if you want to see some of her crazy costumes, be sure to go follow her on Instagram. You can easily find her and you will see all of the crazy wild costumes she does every day. Every day is a new day, and every day is an exciting day to see what Shannon's going to show up as.
It's at shoff1. But here's the thing, Marguerite. I feel like, first of all, we have to hone in on our crazy side, or they say the artsy side, or whatever it is. Everybody knows like you're the mom of the industry so much. You've basically mentored the people. So we're known for certain things. And what's crazy is that I just got a phone call from one of my clients that's in Idaho. She's, hey, I love seeing your stuff. Hey, I'm going to purchase another property. I'm like, okay, that's cool. It's being up in front of people all the time. So I do this craziness for 31 days and different events throughout the year. That's how people know me. And so then it gives them an opportunity of something to come up to me and talk to me about whatever.
And what I love is that we run very parallel lives in the way that we've built our business. You have really become the queen of events, of doing client events and hosting parties and the hostess with the mostess and doing some wild, crazy
stuff. Neck and neck.
So let's go back a little ways. Let's go back in history and let's talk about, how did you end up in the mortgage business? What were you doing before you got into the mortgage business?
So I had a modeling and acting school and an agency, and it was like 7 days a week, tons of traveling. And I just had a little kid. And so I couldn't make it to all of his events. And it was his second year of being, he was Rudolph in, I don't know, like second grade or third grade. And I couldn't make it to another one of his big parts in history. And I said, I just can't do this anymore. I can't do it. And so my husband was a GM at a car dealership. And he said, God, I'm selling all these cars, all these kids in their 20s that are making a few $100,000 a year. They're idiots. I'm like, oh, that's totally me. I'm an idiot. Let me do it. And so I didn't even know how to spell mortgage, but I said, let's do it. By that time, we'd already had a couple of houses. And so I got into it. And I interviewed at a company called AmeriQuest back in the day. And every time that I would interview with somebody, they'd say, oh, do you know such and such? I'm like, no, why does everybody here keep on asking me if I know this person? Anyway, because there was one female that worked there. There was 600 males, mostly white, 25 to 30 years old. Yeah, let's do this. And so I was the second female that they hired. And it was pretty crazy. Finally, somebody was smart enough to hire me, or dumb enough. And I work weekends and stuff because I'm just a worker and I'm competitive. And so I just wanted to be in there and say, hey, I'm a girl. I'm going to make it to President's Club ASAP. And so I did. And I've been in it ever since. And it's so freaking rewarding. It's very stressful, but it's very rewarding. So I'm super happy that I got the chance to get into this industry.
And it's funny because how we met is back when I had my brokerage. So for those of you who are listening, I had a real estate brokerage for 22 years and we had about 120 agents. And thankfully, life changed and we were able to get out of that. And I've been at EXP 8 years now. But back then we used to do these weekly meetings. And I remember we had a business arrangement you were with Vitec then, I think, right?
Yeah.
And you started coming we had 3 or 4 loan officers that would come in, but most of them would just be sporadic and randomly show up and not really do a lot. But you were always there. And I'll never forget the one time you let your daughter, Emily, do your makeup.
Yes.
And she was maybe 4 or 5 years old. I don't think she was very old.
I don't know, maybe 4. Yes. And so Joe saw a post of Amelie doing my makeup. And I was like, oh, I should do that for a meeting. He's, yes, come in. And so I went in there and my makeup was all weird and you had full place. And then after I spoke for 10, 15 minutes, like for me in costume, I don't even realize I'm in costume ever. So if people would see me and see weird stuff going on, I wouldn't even notice. So up there with a straight face, I'm just doing my meeting, going over numbers, all that kind of stuff. And then at the end, Joe goes up there. He's all, hey, you guys. Just FYI, she let her 4-year-old daughter do her makeup and everybody's all, oh, okay. My lipstick's all like here. But it's that shock effect and it's that fun because we're in it to win it all day long and it's stressful and I'm not a business-like person. I have to have fun with it. I can get down to the gritty and nitty-gritty and do those numbers, but just like with you and we want to create those relationships. I want to love on my clients. I want them to love on me. I want for us to have fun so that it just dissipates some of that stress.
Yeah, exactly.
But Joe got me into it.
So what's funny is I saw on one of your posts, you were at dinner or lunch or something with your husband in the last couple of days in costume too, right?
Oh yeah, no, all the time. Yeah. Uh-huh.
What is people's reaction when you're in costume in like restaurants and stuff where they're not realizing it?
Again, I don't actually realize. Last night I was at Shangri-La as a witch. And I'm just going in and I'm like, oh, can I sit at the bar? She's okay. She was trying to sit me out in the Fort Knox somewhere. And she's okay. And then I'll be on my phone and stuff like that. And I'll look up and then I'll see people going. And I'm like, oh shit, that's right. I'm a witch. I have a green face. Because I just don't notice. But people, they tend to laugh and they're always nice and super. They're like, oh, thank God I'm not the only weirdo.
So tell us you said you had a couple good stories about clients. And what I love is that you've been very, at least that's why I've worked with you so long, is that you're always very educational with clients and you help them understand, because I feel like so many, they get so overwhelmed with the combination of the loan process and the real estate process and, everything that's going on. They get so overwhelmed. And there's so much
Yeah.
that they don't understand. So give us a good story.
I mean, it's for me, my superpower is to get cooperation from people, right? That cooperation is to open up the communication because, again, it's not like business. This is their biggest purchase. And I know it's been said 14 million times, biggest purchase, but really diving in deep to see why they want to do this and if it's the right timing and having them actually open up their mind, expand their mind on why they want to do this. A lot of people will say, oh, it's a tax write-off. It's really, what is it? So, for example, I have Trayvon, him and I
Mhm.
just talked this morning, and I said, Trayvon, do you know what you said a couple of weeks ago? I know that you can remember because we were on the team meeting, and I can't remember. I say a lot of stuff. I'm like, okay. um, but he said, I don't, I, he said, I don't know if it's a good time for people to purchase a home. And I'm like, what? What do you mean? How can you sell this if you don't really believe that it's a good time to buy a home? Like your investment, your own space. And he said, I know you and Marguerite hit me hard that day. And I had to really think about it. And he said that you had said he has what issues?
Commitment issues.
Bingo. So you read him. And it's not a psychology. You're not taking a class on it. You just understand people. And she was right.
Yeah.
Those are things that are super important, right? You're getting cooperation for people to be able to communicate with you, to open up the communicate. And actually 50% of the people that talk to us they're not going to be a right fit, right?
Right.
There's reasons why maybe they're not ready. They have $3 in their account, whatever. They want to buy something really bad, but they don't work. There's just a lot of stuff, but really diving in deeper to see what's important to them and why they want to do this. I have another story. I have a client that I've been working with. I worked with her brother a few years ago, and I've just stayed in touch with the family because I just love them. They're awesome. They're from West Africa, and I've been talking to her for a couple of years and really started the process in February. And she got into contract 2 weeks ago. And I've gone over numbers with her for literally months. She got into contract a couple of weeks ago. And then she got so nervous, she backed out. And I've gone over numbers with her a million times. And I was talking to the agent, and I called up the agent and I said, I failed. She said, what are you talking about? You gave her all the numbers. She doesn't feel comfortable with the payment. And I'm like, I know, I failed. And I said, I'm going to have a conversation with her today. So I talked to her. I go, I need for you to go through all of your bank statements. I need for you to look at because she has several jobs. I need for you to take the time to look at where your money is going. And then we'll have a conversation on Monday. So her problem was when I looked at February to now, she had the same amount of money saved. She makes over $100,000 a year. She has the same amount. She pays no rent. Same amount of money saved, the same amount of debt. She didn't pay off anything. So her issue that I found out, I was all racking my head that night. Why did she cancel? I said, she has a money management issue. So I had her do all that stuff. Monday morning, we have a Zoom, and I'm like, okay, where are you at? What'd you find out? She goes, okay, I cut $600 of my bills. I didn't even know that these things were coming out of my account. I paid off all of my credit cards. I used that $20,000 that I had. I paid off $15,000 of credit card. That saved me another $600 a month. I called the university, asked for an 8-week course. That's going to give me another $15,000. And she goes, by the time December comes around, I'm going to have 50 grand in my account. And I'm saving a couple $1,000 a month. I was like, how do you feel? And she says, I feel free. I feel like a superwoman. And I go, that is more important to me than you ever doing business with me.
Right.
I am so proud of you because now she has financial freedom and she has control of her freaking life. Like those things and diving in deep, if I can't figure it out, then I failed. I I did not ask the right questions. I did not look at where she was 6 months ago and where she is today and how nothing has changed. So it wasn't the nervousness of having $5,000 payment, which is high, but it was really that she didn't know where her money was going. So she never thought that she could do it.
I think that's so valuable because my famous quote that I say all the time is the number one reason people don't buy a home is because they don't think they can. And so, what I love about watching you work and us working together is we've had countless customers that we've worked with for a year, 2 years, 3 years to help them get into position to be able to buy a home. And it's so gratifying when they do come back and they've figured it out and they've created equity. One of my favorite people that was one of my very first clients when I got into real estate was Sue, right?
Sue Lee.
Yep. And what I love about, I'll never
And I
forget.
freaking love her. I just
I
talked to her
love her.
last week.
And when I sold her first home in 1998, I think it was, maybe it was 96. I'm trying to remember right now, long time ago. She has been such a loyal person, but when she first bought that home, she did not think it was possible for her to even buy a home. And she's a veteran. She's a disabled veteran as well. And I know she won't mind me sharing this story because her whole life's an open book, but she was a disabled veteran. And we were able to show her how to buy a home. And now she's here. Now we're looking at almost 20 years later or more. Wait, almost 30 years. Yeah, long time ago.
In a minute.
And she has referred so many people throughout the years. And it's just amazing to be able to help someone like her. And she's so grateful, is what I love the most. Every time I talk to her, she's so grateful. And I don't need that puffing up to say how great I am. What I'm most proud of is that she was able to accomplish that goal. And we got to be a part of it and help her. You know?
And the people that she's referred never thought that they could have bought a house.
Right.
I can't remember who the referral was. She's, I don't think I could do it.
Oh, Jody.
Sue's
Jody.
friend.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I don't think I can do it. She just told me to call you. I'm like, let's check it out. And the thing is that I think that's like with your personality, you lead with your heart, which is when you lead with your heart, first of all, it's fulfilling. You live a good life. You live a life of gratitude and all of that, and people just freaking love you. But second of all, it's so hard to find genuine people out there since we are being advertised through. There's so much noise all day long. 5 billion advertisements go through our freaking whatever, our whole noise around us all day long. To be able to sit down and have a good conversation, genuine, which is what you always provide. That makes people feel heard. It makes them feel wanted, and it changes people's lives.
And it's great because when you work with when you have a good team, when you have a good lender and you have a good relationship, I always know that if I'm having a rough minute or a day that I can call and you're going to knock me out of it, which is great. But to be able to because we've had a rough few years here of things changing pretty dramatically from
vice versa, me calling you too.
From interest rates and going low and high and low and high and back and forth. Home prices have been out of this world. But at the end of the day, we know that our purpose is to help these people accomplish their goals when it comes to real estate and doing more educational stuff, which I love, which I know we're going to be sitting down here pretty soon and working on our business plan for 2025 and our marketing calendar.
I can't wait.
And if you're listening and you have not done that yet, please DM me because I am happy to include you. We'll do it via Zoom, we'll do it live and in person, whatever we need to do. But having your business plan and your marketing plan together makes life so much easier because when you're having those rough days and you're having those pity parties and you're trying to figure out what to do, you can just always go back to your plan and say, okay, let's do this. Or did we do that like we promised we would? Are we holding each other accountable? Are we helping each other accomplish the goals we need? And we all need that in this industry. We need those people that we can have our pity parties with, but we can also celebrate with, that are there to help push us through those challenging times. Because I'm telling you what, we've had some tough deals. I'll tell you the funny thing is the hardest deal I've ever done, and I'm sure you, is my own damn deal, right? And it's what's so funny is I think as real estate agents and loan officers, we should have to buy or sell or refinance or something like every 2 years because we have
No,
no idea what our clients
we
go
get a
through. I
bunch
remember
of
calling you one day.
Kleenex.
I'm like, is this what our clients go through? This is hell.
No, I said no. But the 3 toughest deals that I've had this year, literally, I've had a few. I've had probably one a month. It's been because qualifying people is very super difficult. It's like everything has hair on it. I don't like to put out there to the universe, but 3 of my toughest deals were real estate deals this year from realtors. But the good thing is that you guys like are fast to get me stuff and fast to, I know we want to pull out our hair and stuff like that, but it is. But doing that, going back to what you were talking about, you and I having a tough year. Last year was in 2023 was the worst year I've ever had since I've been in this industry. It was actually the lowest year that I've ever had for probably 30 years financially. And I was like top 10% in the United States.
Right.
And I took off 2 months to go to Europe. I'm like, screw it. But it got in my head. I was like, Loserville, hey, what are you doing, loser? And making excuses and stuff that I've trained all of my team, like tons and tons of loan officers, to get out of your head. So finally in January, I did 0 loans, which has never happened. And I was like, okay, I need to get my act together. And since then, I was I don't know, who knows. But now here I am. Since then, I said, I don't even care. I'm just going to call all of my clients again and just shoot the shit with them 20 calls a day. Because I used to do 10 calls a day and stuff like that, but I wasn't really intentional about it. I'm like, I'm just calling up on my clients 20 calls a day, and I'm going to make sure that I have something of value to offer them, whatever it is. Open up the conversation, open up the communication, and really just dive in deep to see how they're doing. And then it became fun for me again. And then my self-worth came up again. Oh gosh, Shannon, you're going to help people. And then the ball started rolling, and then it became fun again. Because really, it's not about being a loser. It's not about, okay, I'm not number one. I'm not this, that, and the other. It's really diving in deep. I know that it's because I want to help as many people as possible. And if I'm not helping people, I don't feel worthy.
And it's interesting because the first quarter of this year was rough on me as well.
Yes.
And I was having my own set of pity parties and challenges and trying to figure it out. And what's interesting, and I know that you do this too, is literally one day I just flipped the
You
switch.
snapped out of it. I know.
And I
I
said,
know.
okay, this doesn't work for me anymore. And I'm going to stop complaining about it. And I'm just going to do the work. And I just put my nose to the grindstone and I put 10 in contract. And I had 2 of my biggest months I've had in a long time.
Yes.
But I literally just said the same thing okay, I'm going to make my calls. I'm going to do my work. I didn't focus on the end result. I focused on doing the work. And I think that people need to hear that
Daily
more.
rituals.
I was just having a conversation with one of my friends, and he was full on in a full blown pity party. And he's, God's crapping on me, and I have the worst luck, and I have this. And I said, okay, let's flip that switch. Let's flip that switch. What if instead of if you got all that noise out of your head and you just started powering through to do the work?
Yeah.
And that's what I did. I have posters in my office. I was putting things, writing my stuff down. I was listening to positive podcasts and doing all that.
You were
and said,
getting excited again.
I was getting excited again. And what's funny is it's just weird how the universe works, God, whatever people believe in. But during that time when I was saying, okay, I'm just going to get back to work, I got a phone call from a client of mine that I had sold a house to 20 some odd years ago. And they had bought their first home in not the best area, but they bought where they could afford. And then a few years later, they decided to buy a house up in the foothills. They kept the rental. A few years later, we sold the rental for them. And he called me and he said, hey, are you able to represent me anywhere in California? I said, yes and no. What is it you're looking to do? And he goes, We found a piece of property in Mendocino that we want to buy. And I said, okay. I said, well, give me the details. He sends me the details. It's a $2 million property. What I love most about this story is, first of all, I said, have finances changed? And he goes, yeah, we just sold our company for a boatload of money, like $12 million or something.
Yeah.
And what is so cool about this story is I remember years ago them telling me that someday they wanted to live on the coast.
That's so
And
badass.
they mentioned this dream. I drove up to see this property that they wanted to buy. And literally, here's Highway 1. There's the ocean. This house sits right here with mountains behind it. The house was built in
Beautiful.
1878. And these
Mhm.
guys, after 20 some odd years of working hard and buying real estate, they would have never been able to do this if they had not bought that
Yeah.
home, bought the second home, sold the rental, were able to buy a legacy property for them and their family.
So
And
badass.
that is what
Mm.
we do. That's obviously it was not my dream I was helping them accomplish. It was their dream. And to be able to take that picture, we went out and they had a side by side, a quad, and we drove it's 265 acres, drove all over this property,
So crazy.
looked at this. And
Mm.
my heart could not get any bigger because I
I
was
know.
excited for them, and that they spent their whole life wishing and dreaming about this. And
So
now they have
awesome.
a legacy property for their family. So the cool thing was, like I said, I had no idea that was going to happen. I just started doing the work. I
Yep.
started doing what I needed to do on a daily basis to follow up, to check in with people. How's
And they
life?
might not have gotten that. They might not have had their dream come true.
And so
You
it's
know?
amazing to me. I say often how blessed I am to be in this industry, because there's no reason why I should be, from the background that I grew up in. And I feel so incredibly blessed to be able to do this every day. And we've got hundreds of stories. I know you do. I do as well,
Mhm.
of people that we've been able to help. And I think that part of the real estate industry is not given enough credit.
Oh,
A lot of people are like, oh,
because people
put a
don't
sign in the
hear
yard.
it.
They're like, all you do is put a sign in the yard. You're just here to make commission.
No.
You're here to eat. And the other part of that is that we only get paid on results. If we
Yeah.
don't help people accomplish their goal, we don't get paid.
Yeah.
And we get paid well for what we do, but it also takes situations like those clients. 22 years I've been in contact with these people and
Mhm.
helped them through a variety of financial situations. And I just feel so blessed that we get to be a part of that every day.
Yeah, and the thing is that, Marguerite, you and I are not people that will just put a sign in the frickin' yard. I can't just be like, okay, here's your rate.
Right.
Here you go. Good luck. Congratulations.
Yeah.
No, it's throughout the process. You have to educate them. You have to get them excited. I've talked to people for 5 years sometimes before they're ready. And I've had people crying in my office, I can't do this. I can't do this. I'm a single mom. There's no way I can do this. I'm like, I promise you. I know this is your 5th time driving to my office, spending $20 in gas every time so you can cry. I promise you, it's going to be worth it. That client, it's not only buying a house, right? It changes their mind that they can do it,
Yeah.
that they can do it,
Yeah.
that everything is possible. She has a friend that's here. Somebody that think that they can't do anything all of a sudden, and they're making 40 grand a year. All of a sudden, my client started to she built a business after buying a house. She was making over $1 million a year. Last year, she bought $1 million house. And another one of my clients is she's from Central Africa. But I just remember these stories and the importance of their life story and changing. And then for them to tell me, hey, I just want to take you out because I'm so grateful. And I'm like, oh my God, you were going through that. Anyway, I'm incredibly grateful to be part of the whole process. And I'm super grateful to be working with you, who has the same goals, integrity, the same highs and lows that we
Hey, I
have.
just saw Bad Betty walking by.
I know. Bad Betty, how do you get inside? Yes. She's
There's
every
sweet bad
day
Betty.
she's like, Bad Betty.
Oh, see, I have my little dog Rue. She sits back here behind me in my chair. Can you see? Say hi, Rue.
Hi, Rue. Oh
She's
yeah,
not
that
very
dog
excited.
loves you. That
It's
dog
not
loves
very
you.
excited. Shannon, I'm so grateful for you and your time and all the energy that you put into me and my business and all the clients that we work with. I'm forever grateful, and you entertain me endlessly every day.
Ditto.
I only am sad that I'm going to miss your Halloween party this year, which is the epic party of the year. I know I'm going to be in Miami at EXPCon, but
It's
I'm
okay. We'll
spirit.
have our clients here.
And I'm there in spirit, so I'm sure you'll have a great time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but thank you for being on our show, and I'm excited to see all of your costumes. You guys definitely go follow her on Instagram, and that way you can check out all the craziness she does, because it's not just in October, just for the record.
Yeah, it's pretty much every month. Something
It's
fun.
always all right. Thank you again, Shannon.
Thanks, Marguerite.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us on Real Estate Real World, where obviously we get to talk to all the cool people and in costume and not in costume. So we get to talk to some pretty amazing people. And I feel really blessed to be able to have this show. Please be sure to follow us on all our social media. And it would be really awesome if you gave us a 5-star review somewhere. It helps push us up in the rankings. By the way, you're going to want to follow me closely in the coming weeks. I'm putting together some awesome products available for brand new agents called Rookie to Rockstar. And you're going to want to hear all about the details in that. So be sure to follow us and listen in. Follow us on social media. Go out there and make it an amazing day, everyone. Thank you for joining us today on Real Estate Real World, where we talk with masters and leaders in the real estate industry and beyond on how we can raise the bar in our industry. Please subscribe over on iTunes, and while you're there, be sure to give us a review. Your reviews encourage us and help others to find our podcast for show notes and hot topics on what's going on right now in our real estate industry. Also, hop on over to www.realestaterealworld.com and add your name to our email to get early advance notice of upcoming podcasts. Thanks again for listening, and go out there and be a part of the elite masterclass and raising the bar on the real estate industry.